The Young and the Restless spoilers shock next week. Spoilers shock. April 28 to May 2, 2025. Chelsea Lawson's life with Adam Newman had always been complicated, but now, with the new business venture looming, the tension between them was starting to feel like a storm on the horizon. While Adam and Chelsea appeared to be in a place of relative peace and happiness, the undercurrent of distrust that had always existed between them was beginning to surface again. Chelsea, ever the pragmatic woman, couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. Adam had seemed so focused on supporting her and their son, Connor, but she couldn't ignore the subtle hints of a deeper, more complicated situation. The growing connection between Adam and Billy Abbott was something Chelsea had watched unfold with suspicion. Billy, always the ambitious entrepreneur, had launched his latest business venture with an intensity that could rival anyone in Genoa City, and it was clear that Adam had his own vested interests in the outcome. Chelsea had witnessed their confrontations in the past, times when Adam accused Billy of using his position at Jabot not just for business success, but to undermine Adam at every turn. Adam's accusations, while perhaps exaggerated, had always seemed to come from a place of personal hurt. Billy, naturally, had denied Adam's claims, but Chelsea couldn't help but wonder if Adam had uncovered something that Billy wasn't admitting. Adam was no stranger to corporate rivalry and underhanded tactics. After all, he'd learned from the best, his father, Victor Newman. As the days passed and the business landscape in Genoa City began to shift with the upcoming launch of Billy's latest venture, Chelsea found herself questioning Adam's motivations more and more. She had always known that Adam's business dealings with his father, Victor, were complicated at best, and she had seen firsthand how Victor's relentless pursuit of power could taint everything Adam touched. Chelsea had hoped that Adam was different, that he was building a future for them without falling back on the old power struggles that had so often defined his family. But with the new business venture on the horizon, Chelsea couldn't help but feel that there was something more to Adam's role in all of this, something that involved Victor's persistent demands and his involvement in the business dealings of not just Jabot, but also the new startup venture that Billy was launching. Could Adam be using this new venture to his advantage, perhaps even plotting behind the scenes to secure a more significant stake in the business, or worse, manipulating the situation to ensure that Billy's efforts failed? Chelsea knew that Adam had always played a long game, especially when it came to business, but the idea that he might be strategically positioning himself against Billy, or even betraying Chelsea's trust, was something she couldn't ignore. She had seen how Adam's ambition and his past had clouded his judgment before, and as much as she wanted to believe that he was committed to her and their family, she couldn't shake the nagging feeling that Adam was hiding something from her. Of course, it was also possible that Adam was simply hiding something much more personal from her, perhaps a surprise romantic gesture to prove his love, or some deep emotional gesture he was planning for her. After all, in their quiet moments together, Chelsea had seen a side of Adam that was genuine, vulnerable, and tender, a side that made her believe he was capable of being a different man than the one who had made mistakes in the past. Connor, their son, had found happiness in his parents being together, and for once, it seemed like Chelsea and Adam were building something stable. But in the back of Chelsea's mind, she couldn't help but wonder if there was a darker layer to all of this, a secret Adam was hiding, one that might not just affect their relationship, but their future. In any case, the question remained, could Chelsea trust Adam? Or was she, once again, being swept up in the same drama that had plagued their relationship for so long? She had always been fiercely independent, and the thought of being manipulated by Adam, whether in business or in their personal lives, was something that terrified her. She wasn't sure if she could bear another heartbreak, especially after everything they had been through. As for Adam, his relationship with Victor was always a point of contention. Adam had previously set boundaries with Victor, particularly when it came to Jabot and his involvement in the Abbott family business. He had made it clear that he wouldn't let his father dictate his career decisions any longer, and Chelsea had seen that shift in him. But as the pressure built with Billy's upcoming venture and Victor's increasing demands, Adam found himself in a precarious position. His loyalty to his family, especially Victor, was always complicated by his desire for independence. But could he stand firm this time, or would he once again bend to his father's will? Victor had always been relentless, and Chelsea knew that if Victor truly set his sights on something, he would stop at nothing to get it. Could Adam resist his father's influence and support Chelsea in the way he promised? Or would he cave under the pressure, just as he had in the past? Chelsea's worries were justified, but she didn't want to believe that Adam's ambition, or his relationship with Victor, could tear them apart again. As Chelsea looked at her future with Adam, she knew that the answers to these questions wouldn't come easily. But one thing was certain, she couldn't continue to ignore the growing suspicions in her heart. Whether Adam was hiding something from her or simply caught between his love for her and his loyalty to his family, Chelsea would need to confront the truth sooner rather than later. As the world around them shifted and the stakes grew higher, Chelsea would have to decide whether to trust Adam, to accept the risk, or to walk away from a love that had already caused her so much pain. In the latest episodes of The Young and the Restless, Diane Jenkins Abbott's decision to renovate the Abbott mansion is taking center stage, and it's clear that this project means far more to her than just making the house look better. For Diane, the renovations symbolize a chance to prove herself. To show the Abbott family that she's capable of something more than the tumultuous past they all remember. Diane's hope is that the improvements to the home will help her regain some measure of respect within the family, particularly with Jack and Kyle. Diane had promised herself that she wouldn't go too far, that she would tread carefully with the changes, respecting the legacy and the memories of the Abbott family home. She's kept her word, but the reactions from her family are mixed. Kyle is excited about the changes, clearly impressed by what Diane has done. For him, it's not just about aesthetics, he sees this as Diane's attempt to be a part of the Abbott family again, to contribute in a meaningful way. However, Jack is more reserved. While he hasn't voiced any outright disapproval, there's a sense of hesitation in his silence. He appreciates the effort, but there's a deeper concern lurking beneath the surface. Jack's main worry isn't about the renovations themselves but about the changes they signify. The Abbott mansion has always been a symbol of the family's history, filled with memories of their past. Jack, in particular, holds on to those memories tightly. He doesn't want to see the house transformed into something unrecognizable or have the sentimental value of the home lost in the process. Diane, listening to him, respecting the family history rather than imposing her own vision, would go a long way in easing Jack's concerns. He wants to preserve the memories, to keep the connection to the past intact, even as the family moves forward. This delicate balance between honoring the past and embracing change is where Diane will need to tread carefully. Meanwhile, Lily Winters finds herself locked in a tense confrontation with Audra Charles. Lily, ever the astute businesswoman, senses that there is more to Audra's presence in Genoa City than meets the eye. She wants answers, but Audra has proven to be a master at keeping her cards close to her chest. The stakes are high as Lily pushes Audra to reveal her true motives, and in doing so, Lily may begin to uncover something more sinister. Could it be that Audra is working for Victor Newman, as many suspect? Given Audra's history with the Newman patriarch, it's a real possibility that Lily's hunch is correct. If Lily figures it out, it could be a game changer, especially if she connects the dots between Audra's manipulations and Victor's far-reaching influence. The situation becomes even more complicated with Nate Hastings currently away on business. His absence creates a vacuum, and it's clear that Audra is taking advantage of this opportunity to further her own agenda. Could this be where Holden Novak enters the picture? Holden has been a significant, albeit mysterious, figure in the background, and his involvement in whatever is going on with Audra could complicate matters further. As Lily pushes for answers, she may unwittingly stumble upon a web of deceit that connects Victor, Audra, and Holden in ways she doesn't yet understand. But it's not just about uncovering business secrets. There's a personal aspect to this situation as well. Audra's connection to Holden, which seems to be growing, might raise suspicions for Lily. If she were to witness an intimate moment between Audra and Holden, she could misinterpret it entirely. Her protective instincts could kick in, leading her to assume that there's something more going on between them, something that could be damaging to Nate and his relationship with Audra. Lily, ever the realist, would see the potential for trouble, but her assumptions could cause her to misjudge the situation and get drawn into a misunderstanding that would only complicate things further. Audra, for her part, is walking a tightrope. She is trying to play the game of business, power, and influence with precision, but she's also trying to establish herself as a trustworthy ally in Genoa City. She wants to prove that she's not just working for Victor's interests, but her own. She wants to build her own legacy, separate from the shadow of the Newmans. But the web of lies and manipulations she's weaving might ultimately expose her as a player in a much bigger game, one that she might not be able to control as easily as she thinks. For now, the tensions are building. Diane's renovations, while seemingly benign, represent a deeper struggle for control and respect within the Abbott family. Jack's cautious acceptance and Kyle's excitement are just the beginning. The real question is whether Diane can prove that she's worthy of a place in the family without undermining the past that Jack holds dear. Meanwhile, Lily's investigation into Audra could uncover the secrets that Victor and his associates are working hard to hide. With Nate gone, the potential for chaos is high, and the lines between personal and professional are becoming increasingly blurred. As the drama unfolds, each character's motivations, desires, and hidden agendas will come to light, and Genoa City will once again find itself caught in the whirlwind of corporate rivalry, family loyalty, and personal betrayal. The stakes have never been higher, and no one is safe from the consequences of their actions. At Society, the tension in the air is palpable as Lily Winters, ever vigilant and sharp, sits across from Audra Charles, probing her for answers. Lily has long suspected that Audra is hiding something that could pose a threat to Nate Hastings, the man she cares deeply for. As their conversation unfolds, Lily's suspicions only deepen. Audra, despite her outward charm and professional demeanor, seems to be playing a game far more complicated than Lily could have imagined. Lily's worry grows as she confronts Audra about the potential dangers of her actions. She knows that Audra has connections to some of the most powerful figures in Genoa City, and Lily isn't convinced that Audra's intentions are as pure as she claims. As the conversation steers towards Holden Novak and Damien Kane, Lily is determined to get to the bottom of the mystery that surrounds them. Holden's presence in Genoa City has always been shrouded in secrecy, and his connection to Audra and Damien only raises more questions than answers. Lily's desire for the truth burns brighter as she questions how deep the ties go between these figures and what role they might play in the power struggles unfolding around them. As Lily presses Audra for more information, Holden steps into the conversation, making his presence known. The air shifts, and what began as a calculated conversation now feels like a high-stakes interrogation. Holden, ever calm and composed, is no stranger to tense situations. He immediately picks up on the undercurrent of suspicion and realizes that Lily and Audra are no longer speaking as colleagues but as adversaries, each seeking to uncover the other's hidden motives. Lily, determined to get to the heart of the matter, challenges Holden. She questions his true allegiance and his reasons for staying in Genoa City rather than returning to his life in Los Angeles. The question lingers in the air, thick with implication. Why is Holden here, really? Is it for business, or is there something more personal at play? Holden, not one to shy away from difficult questions, responds with a firm declaration of loyalty to Damien Kane, the man who has been a central figure in the web of intrigue surrounding him. He makes it clear that he is prepared to take the heat for Damien if it comes to that his commitment to Damien is unwavering. But his statement only raises more questions for Audra. Audra, always calculating, watches Holden closely as he speaks. While his loyalty to Damien is clear, she can't help but wonder if the sentiment is truly mutual. Would Damien be willing to do the same for Holden if their roles were reversed? Audra knows that in the world of Genoa City, loyalty is often a one-way street, and she's learned the hard way that allegiances can shift as quickly as the tide. The subtle tension between Holden and Audra is palpable. There's more beneath the surface than either of them is willing to admit, and it's clear that their relationship is far more complex than it appears. Lily, not one to back down, continues to push for the truth. She's suspicious of Holden's presence in the city, sensing that his connections to both Audra and Damien may be more than coincidental. As she watches the exchange unfold, she realizes that Holden's intentions in Genoa City are tied to something much larger than she initially thought. His loyalty to Damien might not be as straightforward as he makes it seem. Could Holden be more involved in the shady dealings that have been surrounding Genoa City than anyone realizes? As Holden leaves the conversation, the weight of what he said hangs in the air. Lily is left to piece together the puzzle, and a dawning realization begins to form in her mind. She begins to understand that Audra is likely the key to everything, the center of this tangled web of alliances and betrayals. Lily's suspicions about Audra deepen as she connects the dots between her and Holden. What began as a simple inquiry into Holden's loyalties has now blossomed into a realization that there is much more to Audra's story than she's been letting on. Her connection to Holden seems more personal than professional, and Lily knows that this is something she will need to investigate further. In the world of the young and the restless, nothing is ever as simple as it appears. As Lily digs deeper into the mystery surrounding Audra, Holden, and Damien, she becomes more entangled in the web of lies and manipulations that define the city's elite. The power plays, the hidden alliances, and the secret motivations will continue to unravel in unexpected ways, and Lily will need to decide just how far she's willing to go to uncover the truth. The stakes are high, and as Lily inches closer to the answers she seeks, the consequences of her discoveries could change everything for those involved.